hit the subscribe button. Or don't. I really don't care one way or the other.
Welcome everybody to my latest video. So for this video, let's take a trip down memory lane and let's see, what should we remember? How about my experience with the Sony PlayStation? So, you know, major video game companies back in the day, you had Nintendo and you had Sega. And that was pretty much it. Anybody else that dared to enter the video game scene was usually crushed within a very short amount of time. You had NEC with their TurboGrafx 16/Turbo Duo, and at the time, you know, they were crushed. Didn't take long. You had 3DO, again, came in as a major competitor, but just couldn't hang with the boys. So then when you hear that Sony was coming out with a video game system, you thought, okay, well, Sony's a pretty big name, but they know nothing of video games. And at the time, a lot of us didn't know about the Sony Nintendo betrayal incident. If you don't know, look it up. Very interesting story. And if it wasn't for that betrayal, yeah, who knows where the video game market would have gone. But anyways, you know, it just started to pique my interest. I'm like, okay, Sony PlayStation, nice. And as more and more information came out about it, the more and more I wanted it. The design, the look of the control pad, which was very, very unique at the time, very innovative. And yeah, it was just, this was something that I had to have. And at the time, the competition was the Sega Saturn. I believe the Sega Saturn was selling for $399.99. Here the Sony PlayStation is going to come out, and you hear they either announced that it was going to be under $400 or under $350. It might have been under $350. Now, at the time when they say something is under a price, you know, under $400 means $399.99. Under $350 means $349.99. Now, if I remember correctly, Sega, they were not worried about the Sony PlayStation. And I think when they said, okay, it's going to be under $350, it means that Sony's going to sell it for $349.99. No biggie. We still got the edge. We're the big dogs. We have nothing to worry about. Sony PlayStation comes out. It's $299.99. That was like a big FU to the competition. Took everyone by surprise when that price point was announced. So yeah, I was like, okay, I need to start saving up some money. I need to sell some games. I need to do whatever I can because I want this system. Now, at the time, there was a video game store called Electronics Boutique. They were eventually bought out. I think they became EB Games, and they were bought out. Yada yada yada. But they had this deal. You can get $100 off a Sony PlayStation, so instead of $299, it'd be $199 if you trade in any 10 video games. And that usually meant, you know, Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis. So man, I hustled, I did what I had to do, got 10 games I didn't want, went down there, traded it in, got my $100 off. Got my reserve, you know, that $100 off was basically my down payment for reservation of the game, I think. system. Long story short, it comes out, get the system, take it home, so mesmerized, so happy. One cool thing was back in the day, the PlayStation, you could get demo CDs. It was a game CD, obviously, and it would have like, I'd say maybe 12 games on it, and 6 games were just like previews. You couldn't do anything. You could maybe watch like a trailer, watch some gameplay, and that's it. The other games, you could demo them. If it was a racing game, you could play like the first track. The particular demo disc that I had, it had Battle Arena Toshinden, and you could choose from 3 characters and play 1 match. Or maybe it was 1 game. 2 out of 3 falls. It had Jumpin' Jack Flash. Might have had Demolition Derby. But anyways, it was so cool because, it was a preview. You could basically test out a game you might have been interested in. So I played the hell out of that system. I played the hell out of that demo disc, spent all my money, didn't have any money to purchase a game, when I got the system, so I had to make do with, what I had, which was not much, just that demo disc, but I was very happy. My birthday may have been coming up, I can't remember, but yeah, decided to get my first purchase of a Sony PlayStation game. And my very first purchase, I was disappointed. I got WrestleMania the arcade, obviously for the PlayStation. Now the reason I got that game is I never played it. I was a wrestling fan, a WWF fan at the time, and I was just hoping that even though it was digitalized graphics, I was really hoping that it played like WrestleFest. WrestleFest is a wrestling game and a wrestling arcade game. It was one of my favorite arcades of all time. But, I got it, and yeah, the gameplay was nowhere near what WrestleFest was. Really disappointed. It didn't take long for me to, want to trade it in. Now, I traded in at P&L Video Games, a place I've talked about before. Can't remember what I got, but whatever game I did get, it might have been Demolition Derby. I think it was. I traded it towards Demolition Derby, and that game I played the hell out of. I love that game. But yeah, my Sony PlayStation, just having to have it, that time, that era of all the new innovations that are coming out, the jump from 16-bit to 32-bit. Nobody knew what a bit was. But yeah, good times. People, had their Sega Saturns, PlayStation versus Saturn, that era. See, did it come with 2? I think it also came with 2 controllers. The demo disc. Some of the games I remember playing, Ridge Racer, that was one that I purchased. What I loved about Ridge Racer was that you could load the game, take out the game, insert your own music CD, and then the songs would play on as you're racing around the track. Other games I had, Tekken. I also had Tekken 2. I bought the import version of Tekken 2. And I had that months before any of my friends. Now, the PlayStation was technically region locked, but that first model, there was not necessarily a hack, But a little trick you could do in order to bypass the region lock in order to play import games. Basically, you had to go to the music section, the music area of the Sony PlayStation. You had to go there, load an American video game, an American PlayStation game, to play the soundtrack. Once it loads up, well, you put the disc in, and you basically had to put a piece of tape on the back button where the lid presses down on a little button inside the system. So you put some tape there, close the lid, that way the button sticks. The game loads up the music, and then from there, once the disc stops, you pop out the game, you load your import game, exit, go to the main menu, and the game will be loaded and you can play it. Now, I remember getting the import version of Tekken 2, being so mesmerized. Maybe that was the first game I got. The reason I say that is because, the second game I got, what I traded WrestleMania towards, and it could be the reason is because I remember getting home, opening up Tekken 2, getting ready to play it, and thinking, oh my god, I don't have an American game. Damn it. Luckily, what I did have was the demo disc, and that worked just as fine. Just as good. So yeah, that was another game I had. Another import game I had was New Japan Pro Wrestling. I love that game. Didn't recognize any of the wrestlers other than Scott Norton. Wasn't really a major popular name in the United States, but had a great career. That game, I played that for hours on end. Weirdly enough, I can't remember too many other games I had, but I know I had tons of games. Because I would just get them, trade them, get others. I really can't remember anything else. Let's see, what else? There had to have been something, because I was a Sony fanboy for the longest time. Let's see, God of War, did that come out on the PlayStation or the PlayStation 2? Can't remember. But yeah, Sony PlayStation, loved that system. I think when the PlayStation 2 was released, obviously I got that. Jesus, so many goddamn bums. And then I think I may have given my PlayStation to my younger sister at the time. But yeah, those were the days, just pure joy. So there you go, just a little trip down memory lane. Can't think of anything else to talk about. If you have any questions, let me know. Until next time.
That's it, man. Game over, man.